welcome to PADNET Presents, a show featuring the creative individuals who come through the doors of our Community Media Center in Long Beach. My name is Cassandra, and I am here with my co-host, Rolo and Q. Today we'll be introducing you to some videos about art that were produced by fellow PADNET members. We understand that the word art can encompass a wide variety of topics and themes. We're going to highlight these great videos and show the different faces of art. Let's get started. Long Beach is home to dozens of exhibits. There are plenty of well-known museums, like the MOLA, Museum of Latin American Art, and the Long Beach Museum of Art. But did you know you can see epic works of art in neighborhoods across Long Beach? Murals are art pieces painted or applied directly on walls or ceilings. A building can be a blank slate for artistic expression. Laura Marin shares with us one particular piece in her episode of Long Beach Minute. Enjoy.
So the wall was painted 3 years ago, and finally, the past 3 days, I've been working on it, revamping the wall and doing a whole new mural. I'm doing a wall that's really cute and really colorful, that doesn't really depict the area. I only paint businesses that are owned by minorities or women. To me, it's my community service to the streets and to the communities when I do a wall.
I love how every doll is different, how she puts her art all over the city wherever she feels like putting her art.
Art is not just limited to natural talent. For many, it takes practice. Anyone could get into making art at any skill level. It just takes repetition and a little ingenuity. Ed Wold introduces us to two very crafty ladies and what they could do with just a few folded pieces of paper.
And then we're going to make our little men. And they are done, again, exactly the same way. And I am using larger size paper. Again, we are going to fold it in half. And then in quarters. Open it, bring it down, down again, turn it over, fold each point to the center, and then bring each one up. It looks like a triangle, and then we fold it in half. Again, you want to be able to see the two shoes where we will put our feet in. And when you make your man, we're going to, this will be his behind. We'll take another one. We'll put it in this direction. This way, it looks like he has hands. We'll
Just
take
sort of
the
turn
head.
it backwards from how you do that one.
Right, well, you can
The
turn
top
it
one,
either
yeah,
direction.
yeah.
On this one, this will be the nose, the top of the point of the triangle. So we'll put it in this way. And then you've got to give him a hat. The hat will need to be spot glued to keep the 2 feet together. I'm just going to put a drop of glue on. You can use a toothpick. And it's not sticking, not giving it enough time to dry. And you can fix the hat the way you want it. And this is what your little person looks like. Then you would take his 2 feet here. It didn't dry. Obviously, you would use the correct proportion and just put his feet in, and I would do a little gluing. And you can adjust the body and the head any way you want it. Is it sticking? Not
No,
quite.
just give me the glue. Yeah.
These things have a mind of their own. I do my people figures just slightly smaller than the module for the, okay. So that's our man. You can put things in his hand. On this boat here, I have the father holding, this is a Japanese toothpick. It has the colorful end, the turned
Carving
end.
edge,
The
carved
carved
edge.
edge, thank you. And he can be holding things. He was holding the line for the bird. And that is Chinese origami.
Well, I've noticed you made the little basket and the little tiny, tiny fish in here is little tiny strips, and you've
Right, those
done
are
sort of like quilling.
The fish are quilling.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can see them if I tip it, but there's little fish in the basket.
Very miniature. Very miniature.
And there are many things you can make. You can make bowls, dragons. It's totally unlimited. And by reversing the module folds, going different directions, you can just get any shape you want.
Arts and crafts are just one of many ways we choose to express ourselves. Take a look at how the Leadership Arts Mentoring Program, or LAMP, chose to express themselves in this short film they produced while interning at Long Beach CAP. It's kind of wild at the end, as the interns took a lot of creative liberties to express themselves. Buckle in.
Does anyone have the formula?
Oh yes. I got this one right here.
I don't think that's the right one.
Oh.
The calculations don't seem to be up.
The metaphor
does not collaborate.
Dan, what did you do?
What did you press? The whole system shut down.
Come here. My father's gone. Things will be different around here. I'm the boss now.
Spit it out.
Enough.
Bro, get it. Let's go, let's go, let's
Say
go.
something.
Come on.
Now. That's my question.
This is so stressful.
Yeah, we need to do some stretching. I have some stress in my.
What? What is it? What is it?
Come see.
I'm the boss now.
Oh my God.
Things would be different around here.
There's a formula.
Good God.
This equation seems to be checking out.
We have to go to Dr.
Got
Nakar.
it.
It's correct. Mathematical.
Is this the breakthrough?
This is great.
made it.
We've got it.
We've got it. We got it. We got it, dude. Yes.
Wow, really? You're just gonna sit there and just ignore us? Like, this is a workplace. You're only putting yourself. You know what? I know I should have told somebody else because this is like
So what's the deal with that pine cone? If this short showed us anything, it's that art is subjective. One artistic piece can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. It all depends on who you ask. And while we may differ in our opinions as to what art is, it can also be a tool that can bring us together. Bill Brown introduces us to the Greenlee Art Space, a group whose goal is to use art to build communities. Let's take a look.
Well, I know for myself, I first fell in love with art as a child. I always loved drawing and really expressing my feelings and my thoughts through art. It was something that it just was a big source of inspiration for me. So I, did poetry and made art, but it was always something that was very close, kind of close held in. I didn't share it with very many people. And I think when I went back to school to get my master's in art therapy, I was pregnant with my daughter at the time. And so I really saw how that experience changed my art. And there were always these kind of round, enclosed forms and very organic kind of shapes, things like that. And I think that experience really caused me to fall in love with art even more and really begin to, explore what art was going to be for me and the way that I wanted to, be able to explore those kinds of things. So really looking into sculpture and working with different types of media from around my home, nests and branches and seed pods, things like that, and to kind of express what was going on inside, but then also to be able to share that with others. So I know that's when I first fell in love with art, and I know you've loved art most of your life as well.
So I started drawing and painting and designing things when I was very young. And when I came to go to college, I started kind of on a track for engineering, for technical stuff, and somewhere in there took a design class in the art department at the college where I was going and really, really enjoyed it. And within a year or so, I'd switched over and did a major in fine arts, worked ceramics and sculpture, and really, really enjoy kind of that aspect of being creative. I've since completed my master's in engineering as well, so I can kind of operate on both both sides.
So the concept behind Greenlee Art Space, I think it originated for us in a number of different ways. I've always enjoyed the idea of sort of art as a way to be able to build community. And one of the first art shows that Dave and I put together was kind of this photography show that was titled Broken Beautiful. I have a friend who lives and works in Sierra Leone, West Africa with kids, and so we did a photography project with kids from her group and then kids from a youth group at our church. And we had a really great response to that project, and lots of people really loved it. And I found we were able to kind of transform a room. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, we'd taken kind of an upper room in the church and really worked on remodeling it, transforming it into a gallery, adding lights, kind of turning it into a space that made sense for exhibiting artwork and photography, and that was really fun, I guess, interesting, exciting. It worked well. So that was kind of a driver to start off looking for a space that we could do something similar to that, where we could kind of work on art and curating shows and giving a voice to the community for presenting their artwork.
Right. So I think, Dave talked a little bit about how he's from Peru, and his grandparents actually lived in the jungle, and his father was born in the jungle. And so before we kind of started Greenlee, we had gone out to the jungle together, and I noticed just how being in that lush, green, rich environment was so inspiring to me artistically. And I noticed how my children, they were creating different things, and Dave was drawing, and I was drawing and writing. And so I was thinking about, my background with growing up in Northern California, always being surrounded by sort of natural beauty. I wanted sort of to bring a sense of that to a space in a city. So that idea of Greenlee, it's about things that are growing, how we can help individual artists to grow and to nurture, and how we can also build like community together. We find that at our big shows, things like that, over the years, it's like family. It's about sort of bringing one another together and encouraging each other. Because I think, artists, we can tend to be more singular individuals, and it can be harder to find people that you connect with. And I think that's one of the things that Dave and I really, find that we're passionate about, is connecting with our community and connecting other artists with one another.
Sharing your art is just as important as making it. Long Beach resident Mariana Williams offers a space for local artists to share their expressions through storytelling. In her series, Long Beach Searches for the Greatest Storyteller, individuals compete to see who can tell the most compelling story. Enjoy this clip of some of the best storytelling in the LBC.
My name's Mariana Williams, and this is our finals of our third year of Long Beach Searches for the Greatest Storyteller. We've asked average people like yourselves to come down and share a personal moment of something that happened in their life. Everybody is different, and all of you have a special moment in your life that maybe you would share at another time. So,
thank you, everybody. Hopefully you guys had a good Christmas. I just got through dealing with the first birthday of my son. I got out pretty easy, only $500 on the party, which is apparently very light from what I've heard. It's great having a kid, right now. You deal with a lot. When my wife, we found out we were pregnant, I was dealing with a lot at work, I was dealing with a lot at life, so I actually was just so angry one day, I decided I'm just going to go to therapy. I need to talk about some of this stuff. And what I thought was the problem in my life actually really wasn't. I thought it was, a lot of stuff that was going on with my brother and my father. And the more I was there, the more I found myself telling these stories about my mom. And it felt wrong to me because I love my mom and she's always been there, but it took me back, and I remember when I was 10 years old, I was at the mall with my mom, and out of nowhere, my mom just turned to me and said, "Adam, just so you know, I have a really bad anxiety problem. Hopefully you don't get it."
Memory
is my time machine. It transports me. I remember being 8 years old and growing up in suburbia at the crossroads of David Lynch Avenue and Tim Burton Lane, where every tract home was a cookie cutter of itself. The lawns were manicured, but there was something underneath the white picket fences, the manicured lawns, and the beautiful cherry apple red roses. I remember Ernie. We all knew Ernie. He was the man-child. He was the mentally handicapped man who rode his bike through the neighborhood singing to himself and talking to himself. Children would mock him, adults would dismiss him. I remember being tasked at 8 years old with selling world's finest chocolates door to door for a fundraiser for school. And it was the end of my day of tasking the chocolates, and I end up at the end of the cul-de-sac at Ernie's house. And I walk up to the door, I ring the bell, ding dong, ding dong, and these chimes start going off, and I look and I see a little placard above the doorbell. No solicit. 5, 6, 7, 8 locks unlock, and the door swings open, and there's this middle-aged bald man looking at me. Hi, your name is Will McCrabb. You live at 3169 Josie Avenue. You are 8 years old. That's very true. Would you like to buy a chocolate? I have milk chocolate, almond chocolate, and... No, I do not like to eat chocolate because chocolate is bad for me. It's very nasty. I have diabetes and it will kill me. So you don't want the chocolate. And I look in past Ernie and I see that the floor is moving. There's thousands of insects on the floor. Grasshoppers, crickets, tomato hornworms, earwigs, just everywhere. And then I look past him and I see hundreds of clocks on the wall in many different formations and configurations. And there was a grandfather clock in the corner, and all of a sudden, it was noon. And all of a sudden, the crickets and the grasshoppers rose and created a funnel as Ernie started doing this. And laughing and singing, and I like little baby ducks, pickup trucks, and they created this funnel, this sort of celestial funnel around this man, and then they stopped. And I just had my chocolates, and needless to say, I did not sell chocolates that day. What I did do was meet a man who I spent the better part of 30 years with. And what I did was I listened. I listened to the other. I listened to someone who was different.
That concludes today's show. We had a great time bringing you all the many facets of art in this show. If you are interested in participating in future episodes of PADNET Presents, we invite you to join us in the studio. Don't forget to follow us on all of our social media platforms. You can also join our weekly newsletter to receive announcements on upcoming meetings. On behalf of my co-hosts and myself, thank you for watching PADNET Presents. And remember, you make your media.